Good evening, welcome back to the channel. It's Monday, start of another week. Amazing how much that's dropped. That was middle of my palm when I felled that, and well, down to my wrist now. I was promised a tub of grass cuttings, guy at work, he's going to bring me them in later in the week, so that'll probably fill that up again. I should have some more kitchen waste next time I come as well. Amazing, a bit of rains. Rained a bit over the weekend and rained heavily this morning, and whole place is ready for a big strim over again. I've sort of weeded out these pots or these tyres a bit. Amazes me. There's next to nothing left of that stalk. Slugs have eaten that down to, you know, it's an eighth of an inch thick, if that. Yeah, plant's still happily growing. There's obviously enough moisture getting drawn up there. Same this one, it's been chewed a bit at the base. I think these leeks are what the rabbits chewed down. They're not sort of mushy, so there's a chance they might still grow a little bit. I pulled a load of weeds out of there as well again. I think them leeks are what the rabbits chewed, so I don't want to disturb that anymore, just in case. There's spotted another fruit on this before. There's, if it grows, well, it feels a bit soft on the end. It's probably getting a bit cold now for the squashes to fully develop. There's a little squash on that one there. Again, I can't remember what I planted in the middle of there. I'm going to have a look at some earlier videos. I'd put a cage over it, but there was nothing left inside, just weeds. Since I've just weeded out a giant slug in there, or not a giant one, but a big slug. Weeded these out as well. Can't really see very well there, but still a bit of spinach growing in there. And again, a couple of like little squashes over there, one down there. I don't remember planting anything in that far tyre. I'm wondering if that's self-sown from last season or the season before. I didn't grow anything last year, I'm not sure. I may be wrong, but I don't remember planting anything in there. These onions are all finished. I'll probably pick them on Wednesday next time I come down and put them on a rack. They're drying out reasonably well there anyway. All that's really left in here is some spinach. Although there's a couple of the onions that have got little shoots on them, might still grow a little bit, so I won't disturb that anymore. Like I say though, amazing how this just carpet of green. Pity it's not red clover or something, you could just plough it back in, but a green manure, but that'll die quick enough when I trim it off again and then drag one of these sheets over. There's a fair bit of pooled water from when it was raining earlier. Found a couple of courgettes hiding in the weeds there. That one's not bad, that one might be a bit overdeveloped, so won't know till I cut it open. Don't know if anyone's ever tried with courgettes, especially the ball ones, but if you cut them into slices half an inch thick, dust them in flour and drop them in the frying pan till they kind of go crispy golden on the outside. It's another way of eating a courgette. You can spice your flour up a little bit that you dust it in, some pepper or cayenne pepper or whatever you like. Looks like one of these ruby tomatoes. This is one I grew from seed ruby, and they're supposed to be quite blight resistant, and there is some decay on it, but it's resisted very well compared to the others. And looks like I might just get a bit of ripe fruit off these before the season comes to an end. I'm not sure this Mountain Magic, I think it is the fruit that's on it seems to be just going black before it ripens, so not holding a lot of hope for that. The blush is still producing ripe fruit, and again I think this is meant to be a disease resistant. Just a shame it doesn't have a lot of flavour, but they do chop up and sort of sweat down into sauces. The old mountaineering Sun Gold is still throwing plenty of fruit out and ripe. I mean, there's fruit right up, in fact that's out the window now, or where there should be a window. Still a cucumber or two forming. There's one there and a couple more down there, possibly another one will grow there. The yellow sweet still producing a fair bit of fruit, so not looking too bad overall. Whether these will do anything or not, they are, although they're growing, there is a fair bit of decay on it. It's obviously got blight, same with that one. Whether they'll actually do anything, I'm not sure, but while they're growing I'll leave them for the time being. Quite a lot of little side shoots on here as well. I will come up and probably throw out, well they are flowering, might get a bit of fruit off them, you never know. I'm probably better breaking them off really, and the plant will concentrate on its main fruit then. So that doesn't help. I don't know if you can see that, there's like a brown patch on the stalk, so there's decay there. I might end up, tomatoes are actually funny, even if they're green, if you put them in like a dark drawer, they don't want to be in sunlight, but in a dark drawer or something, they'll ripen in the dark once they get going. But I might end up having to sort of cut this truss off. It depends how badly it decays. We'll see how. I'll have a look again on Wednesday and see if any more fruit's ripening up. It's gone quite cool now. Well, it's bright and sunny out. Well, over there it is, but bit of a breeze. Quite chilly. So what time is it? 6:15. I'll be wrapping up now and heading home. So I shall catch you again on Wednesday. Cheers now. Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's Thursday evening. I'm at my allotment. I've got a tub of kitchen waste and a bag of grass cuttings to drop in the top of here. Amazing how much this has dropped in, I don't know, is it a week or a fortnight? I can't remember. It's down to my wrist now from me halfway up my palm. So hive of activity in there with bugs. So I'll get the kitchen waste in, I'll get the grass cuttings in. I'll bring you back in a bit. That's the kitchen waste in. I don't think I brought any last week. I think that's pretty much 2 weeks worth that was in my tub there. So it's actually just starting to rain. I drove through a huge sort of rainstorm on my way here as I left work. I wasn't sure which direction it was going in, but it appears it could be coming in this direction. Going pretty dark and grey over there. So yeah, I'll get these grass cuttings in. That's the grass cuttings in as well. I was hoping it might have filled it to the top, but not to worry. It's probably about time I stuck a bucket of horse manure or something in as well, so that adds more worms to the mix. At some point this actually splits halfway up. I'm going to pull one of these pins out and just hinge open one of the lower side panels and just have a look at. Be interesting to see what's underneath, what the sort of state the compost's in. So shut that. Grass is really good for your compost. When they talk about leaf mould, I think it is it leaf mould? Not leaf mould, I can't think what it's called now, but in all traditional sort of John and his compost mix, loam it is. Loam is, say for example you have your lawn lifted, or you get it returfed when they cut the old sort of lawn out, the sort of layer of grass with a layer of soil to it. if you stack that upside down so it all rots down, that makes fantastic compost. And I'm pretty sure that's the sort of loam part of all traditional compost. A lot of compost now though is a lot of wood shavings and things, composted wood chips, so it's nowhere near as good as it used to be, but they're not raiding peat bogs anymore for peat based compost, or very little. Some things you still do need peat for, like blueberries and azaleas, rhododendrons. I'm sure they like peat. So not so, quite a few tomatoes here, not far off, well, in fact ready for picking really. I think I'll try and find the plastic tonight and see if I can have a go at redoing these missing panes tomorrow. Also, I want to sow a few onion seeds and perhaps some leek seeds. What I was thinking was, if I can get the temperature up in the greenhouse by repairing these two roof panels, some of these empty buckets, once the leeks or onions have germinated, I'll grow them in the greenhouse in these buckets, so a bit of extra warmth in the greenhouse might promote some growth. That one's ripening up there. That ruby, that's still pretty firm, it's not ripe yet, but it's turning. A few of these ready for picking. Cucumber there still growing. As the temperatures sort of drop, the requirement for moisture lessens a little bit. I think that cucumber will be alright, but that one looks like it's rotting on the end there. Okay, see if there's any more forming. It's getting a bit pale, the leaves there. It might be sort of temperature wise, it's getting quite cool now, so although I do believe there's another sort of hot spell coming next week, which will be good if it does. So I shall I don't know what I'm doing now. I'll bring you back shortly when I work out what else I'm doing. Well, I mean, I do need to water in here anyway, so I'll sort my watering out and I'll bring you back in a bit. It's stopped raining now. It just had a tremendous pour down for a bit. Just looking, this is one of them tomatoes I sort of pulled off a runner and planted. It's grown really well, but it's just riddled with some sort of disease. I don't know if it's blight or just big black patches on the stem, and same with that one. It's not going to do anything, so I think I'll be ripping them out tomorrow. If it's dry enough to get the fire going, well, the stuff in the incinerator's dry, but the other stuff's soggy. But I might rip out some of the dead stuff and get it burnt off. Be plenty of tomatoes to pick tomorrow. Sun golds and that. Oh yeah, they're just ripe, them. Nice. Let that plane go by. Yeah, so I'm gonna dig some seeds out, and whether I grow them in modules or put them in just sprinkle the seeds in the top of the pots and put a thin layer of fresh compost over the top, I'm not sure, but grow some onions and see how leeks do. Might even try and put a few broad beans or something in. There's a few things you can plant and overwinter. So one year I sowed a load of peas in the old tomato pots, and they sort of started growing, then they kind of go dormant over winter. Then I had some really early peas the following year once they started growing again. So obviously it's warmer in the greenhouse to start with than the outside, so it does work quite well. But I'm going to head home now. Everything's saturated outside, so I'll pick tomatoes tomorrow. There is actually, just looking at this, there's still this stem seems to be growing. There's a few potential cucumbers still on there if they've germinated. I just had a slug on the well, trying to get onto this plant, crawled up the inside of the screen, and the polycarbonate panel. I was trying to bridge its way across, so gave him a taxi away from me kind of thing. But like I said, that's about it for today, so I shall wrap up and I'll be back here tomorrow afternoon. Catch you then. Hi, welcome back to the channel. It's actually Monday evening. I never made it back down on Friday. I think I'll probably join 2 weeks into one with this video, simply because there wasn't a great deal happened last week. When I left work on Friday, it's just absolutely lashing down, so I ended up going into the sort of town centre and having a wander around angling direct as it happens, and went home, so didn't manage to get in the garden at the weekend. So I'm back here now. It's quite a few ripe tomatoes, a couple of cucumbers still forming. Temperature has dropped a little bit, although it's been warm today. That one's quite soft. I might be eating that before I go. What I'm having a go at doing, I've brought some plastic with me. I've just removed this what's left of the wooden panel when I lost the polycarbonate panel. I made a couple of wooden frames and sort of wrapped them in plastic, so they're like double glazed but in plastic sheet. And over a couple of years, obviously that wasn't UV stable, it's just fallen apart, so I've got some more plastic, so it should get me through winter and into next year, and I can try and get some more sheet. This vineweed's a bit of a pain. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's just grown up from all around, so snapping as many of the shoots as I can, and hopefully it'll all die back. So some flies that come out of there then. But the grass is all breaking down. Some right weird see that right weird crawly bugs got in the compost. Got no banana skin in there I'll put in after. I've got tomatoes coming through the roof on this side. Starting to get dark a lot early now, so I'll crack on with this and I'll bring you back in a bit. One down, one to go. Just teasing that one out. There's a lot of brambles and vineweed, so just peeling the other panel out. I'll carry on with this and bring you back in a bit. That's the second panel done. When I originally made these, I used duct tape around the edge, but that's actually broken down in the, or seems to have broken down in the sunlight. Obviously not UV stable, so this is some insulation tape I've used this time. So I think I'm gonna have to get some step ladders or something and try and get this vineweed off, as a lot of this green netting is actually decomposed in the sunlight as well. I'd have thought that would have been UV stable, but it's very fragile. So I'm going to end up having to chuck a bit more over this end, I think, to keep the panels in before there's a next storm. But hopefully it'll stay put. So I'll get this last panel in before it goes completely dark. That's the rear side panel in for now, best I can do for the minute. It's just kind of wedged in, there's no clips, it's too thick for any of these, what they call W clips, to hold it in. Hopefully the greenhouse will retain a bit of warmth on an evening now. I've mentioned comfrey before I've got a couple of patches of it growing on the allotment, and I've always just harvested it and put it in the compost. It makes a fantastic compost. This is comfrey. You can also suspend it in water and make like a comfrey tea as a liquid fertilizer. It's a fantastic liquid fertilizer. But I was reading about it in a book I just bought at the weekend, just a second-hand book off an auction site. And I thoroughly recommend this book. I'm not, it's not a sponsorship thing or anything like that, but there's a guy, or he was a guy, called Nicholas Culpeper. He was a physician in the 1800s. His most famous book is called The English Physician and Complete Herbal, which I've got a copy of that I bought a few years ago. But the book I just bought is called The Colour Herbal, and it's basically colour pictures of most vegetables and herbs and the medicinal uses for them. Now luckily this one I just got, or just purchased, beside each picture you've got his original sort of writing in 18th or 19th century, is it 19th century English, so it's quite old worldy English. But then there's a modern medicinal use beside all of them as well. And comfrey you can make into a salve. I think in America they just call it a salve. They don't pronounce the L. So I'm going to cut some of this. You don't need a great deal. You just literally air dry it. I'm going to cut a few leaves, hang them in my kitchen to dry for a few weeks. You then suspend it in an oil of your choice, like olive oil. It infuses into the olive oil for 2 or 3 months, and then you can mix that with like organic beeswax and make a salve that apparently is fantastic for scrapes and grazes, bruising, sprains, just to rub it on as an ointment kind of thing on the outside. You can make a poultice of the leaves for breaks. One of its old world names was bone knit, or knit bone knit, and it's renowned for aiding speedy sort of bone healing and stuff if you have a fracture or a break. So it's, for just a little bit of time, it's a relatively easy thing to make, and you can mix it with other herbs to make antiseptic and all kinds of ointments. So I don't grow any of the others. I can't think of the names at the minute. One was yarrow, I can't think what the other one was. So I'm going to get some seeds and grow some of them next year. But you can do it as an infusion, or you can really dry the leaves and powder them and mix that in. But like arthritis and stuff, it should work pretty well for things like that. I can't use it on my leg ulcer, unfortunately, as it says do not use on any sort of deep penetrating wounds, because it can cause the outside to heal faster than the inside and potentially trap bacteria, etc. in the wound. But for surface cuts, grazes, scrapes, bruising, sprains, apparently it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to harvest a few leaves now, and I'll tie them up with a bit of string or something when I get home, and just hang them in my kitchen for a few weeks to air dry. I shall in due course show you how I get on making that. But multiple uses. So if you've not got any of this growing in your garden, for its fertilizer and composting abilities alone, it's worth growing. This is an inert one, so these seeds, even though the bees, it doesn't really form seeds, or the seeds are inert, but it grows loads of purple flowers that the bees love, but it doesn't produce seeds that'll germinate kind of thing. One of the reasons it is so potent, it has a massive tap root which can go, I think I read something like 30 odd feet into the ground, so it goes deeper than many plants, and it can pull lots of nutrients and things up to the surface, and that's why it is so potent. And a good place to plant it is actually around the base of a fruit tree, because it'll help bring nutrients into the upper layers. Fruit trees don't root very deep apparently. So very versatile crop, and obviously you need to plant it in the ground, and it does sort of spread a bit. You have to control it, but a crop well worth having in your garden for, like I say, it's liquid fertilizer, composting and medicinal properties. So I'm going to cut some of this and I'll bring you back before I go. So I've cut I don't know if you call it a swatch or a bunch of the comfrey leaves. Going back to the book I mentioned, some of his books have got kind of his oldie worldy herbal remedies, and I don't know if you'd call them medicines. And I can't remember if it was a documentary or something I read somewhere, but apparently J.K. Rowling, the Harry Potter author, she has 2 or 3 copies of this book, and I wouldn't be surprised if it sort of gave her some of the inspiration towards some of the little remedy, the concoctions they were making in the films. But one thing that amused me in one of the books I've got, which I think has some of the potions in, there's actually a formula for a cure for witchcraft, which I thought was quite entertaining, considering J.K. Rowling has got a few copies of this. But yeah, you can pick them up second hand. I think I paid just over £4 or UK pounds for the one I just bought. I'll take a snap of the cover, and when I edit and upload the video, and include a picture of the cover. Like I say, not sponsored by them or anything like that, but just a real interesting book with hundreds and hundreds of, it's got everyday vegetables and herbs and any medicinal uses for them. One thing I did read, this bit, or the book, his main book, the English Physician and Complete Herbal, is the most reprinted book in history next to the Bible. So it's obviously quite a popular book, and even today I think every herbalist will have a copy or two amongst their book collection. In like the 1820s, he was out in the wilds taking samples of all these different herbs and vegetables and analysing them and working out what properties they have, many of which are, well, probably all of them are scientifically proven today. How we prove them back then, I don't know, but considering you can pick a copy up relatively cheap if you're into this kind of thing, then well worth having a copy. So I'm just going to tidy up now. It's quite dark. It won't be long in the UK till our clocks go back or go forward, whichever way it is, and get to a point then when even when I'm leaving work it's nearly dark, so I only get here on a weekend then. But got both them panels in now, so hopefully the greenhouse will retain a bit of heat now, assuming they don't blow out or anything. I did actually pick and eat that ripe tomato that was on there, and it was really nice. I think it's called red ruby or just ruby, so with any luck I'll get a few more of them before the frosts hit. But even so, this polycarbonate's like twin walls, so it does stay a lot warmer than a glass greenhouse. And this is also what they call a Dutch light, so the sides taper, they're not vertical up. So a Dutch light greenhouse is designed to bring in more winter light. The angled panes are more attuned to the lower light levels in summer, or the lower angle, the sun's lower angle, etc. So what my plan is, I've got seeds with me there, but I'll take them home again and bring them back tomorrow. The pots with no longer with tomatoes in, I'm going to rip this one out tomorrow I'm just going to sprinkle some onion seeds or some leek seeds in them, cover them with some compost, and see if the additional bit of heat this will retain now will help get some growing for the end of the year. So it's a bit messy at the minute where I've been ripping vineweed and stuff out, and had to drag the tomatoes in that were growing through the open window. But I won't have to turn my chair upside down now to stop it filling with rain. So that'll do me for today. I'm going to tidy up, I'm going to head home. So thanks for watching so far, I'll catch you next time. Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. It's Wednesday evening around 5:45. I was a bit late leaving work, I've come to the allotment. When I did these roof panels yesterday, I had no idea Storm Agnes was due, and it seems to have held off until pretty much me getting to the allotment. No sooner got here, and it has rained a bit during the day and it's been a little bit blustery, but it looks like the heavy rain has come pretty much as I've got here. And I've shut the door because if I get a gust of wind into the greenhouse, it could try and pop the panels out. So I've got my box of seeds with me. There's some compost in here. My plan is to just pull the weeds and stuff out of some of these pots and sprinkle some seeds in. Probably I might stick a few leeks in. They won't develop to big leeks, but you know, even if I've got some sort of spring onion sized leeks, maybe by Christmas it's better than nothing. I've also got some, I'm pretty sure I've got, anyway I've not even checked, I should have some Sensu yellow, which are a Japanese overwintering onion. Ideally they should have been started before now. Oh, sorry about that. You can get sets for them, but I've found if you grow onions from seed, they're a healthier, stronger plant and they're less likely to bolt, whereas the sets can bolt and turn to seed a lot sooner. But in here, I mean, it isn't, even though it's windy and wet outside, it's still actually reasonably warm in here. It's obviously repairing the roof, it's not completely airtight, but it is trapping more heat in now, so it should help. It's that little baby slug. They're not helpful when you're trying to grow stuff. But it should help, you know, keep the greenhouse a bit warmer for on any days that are reasonably warm. And even when it's blisteringly cold outside, it can be, you know, a few degrees warmer in the greenhouse. Like I said in the video yesterday, most of it is twin wall polycarbonate. It's 4mm with an air gap between the twin layers. And obviously these panels, although I've just wrapped it in plastic sheet, it is essentially double glazed, if you like, as the sheet is wrapped all the way around and to form 2 layers and taped up all around the edges. So if you see it blowing in the wind, it's more that the wind is blowing the outer layer, because there's a trapped sort of volume of air in the gap. That's what's pushing the inner layer. Hopefully the wind can't get underneath it and lift them out. But I'm just gonna tidy these pots and in fact I'll have a look through my seeds first, see what I've got with me, and I'll make a start. I'll bring you back in a bit. Okay, I've cleared these 4 pots. I've not brought any plant labels with me, but I have put a giant Bulgarian leek seeds in that one, a broad bean called Camazon, which is like a red broad bean, in that one. I have put a red spring onion in this one, and a red onion called Red Baron, which I think is an overwintering one, in this one. I've not found any of the Sensu yellow in this current seed box, but I'm pretty sure I've got some. I have a couple of tins of seeds in the shed, but onion seeds are only good for a few years, so I'll have to dig it out next time and check the date on it. Picked a reasonable haul of tomatoes, all the right ones. I did notice yesterday, in fact, there was a tomato on the floor that looked like it had been nibbled away at, and that's usually a sign of mice, that kind of damage. And behind that pot in the corner there is like a something sort of dug up through the soil. There's a bulge of soil in the corner under the weed mat. Brilliant weed mat. See how effective that is. So I'll have to just double check, because I think that's where they come in. I might have some bits of mesh or something I can put down on the corner, some of the fine mesh I have at home. If I sort of stamp that down into the corner, it may make them sort of rethink, or get some mice traps or something. Not last year, this season before, literally the same weekend that the weather turned and it went cold, mice came in and just stripped the tomato plants. Everything was just nibbled stalks hanging off the plants. So there's still a few on here, but they're still a bit firm, they're not ripe yet. The actual, just noticed the seed packet for these, if anyone's interested. The one I was calling a bush, the Artisan Blush Tiger is its full name. So it must be obviously the colour and the striping on it. So they're alright. They're not a massive amount of flavour. They break down really good into the sauce though. You know, microwave them for a couple of minutes and you got like a tomato paste you can spread on your toast. This one behind me that I've been calling Ruby, I think that's proper name might be Rubalicious or something like that. But I ate the first one of them yesterday that's come ripe, and that was really sweet and juicy. So hopefully I'll get a few more of them before the summer ends completely, or it turns really cold. What I might do now, what time is it? 20 to 7. While there's a bit of a lull in the wind and the rain, I'm probably going to wrap up now and head home. Not a great deal more I can do here. Like I say, it was raining quite heavily before outside. I'm not going to water the top of these, although that compost is dry. I've sprinkled on top. There is the compost that was in the buckets is very damp anyway, and just rainwater that had been coming in. There is water in the trays underneath. So I think I doubt I'll call tomorrow night, most likely Friday afternoon when I come back here, but that compost will probably look damp, then it'll absorb moisture up through the pots. The other things are still damp enough from when I watered them yesterday. Obviously with the temperature dropping, everything sort of slows down, and once the fruit's developed, they don't need quite so much liquid for ripening as they do for growing the fruit in the first place. I can't see, there's a cucumber up there forming and there's one down there forming. I don't think there'll be many any more really off that plant this year now. I just on Friday need to get the rest of the sort of dead and decayed stuff out of here, and if possible maybe have a fire on Friday, burn some stuff off. Well, that's going to do me for this evening. I shall catch you again on Friday. Cheers now. Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday afternoon. I'm in my allotment greenhouse. I'm happy to say the 2 roof panels are repaired, are still in place, so Storm Agnes didn't manage to rip them out. Disturbingly, there's a few little dimples in the top of some of these pots. I planted the seeds. I'm wondering if that's a mouse. I'll have to set a mouse trap or something just in case. Nothing in that one, but normally I could have said it'd be water drips, but I don't think any water's dripped through, and it's not damp around them, so I suspect that's a mouse having a little nosy around. I've had them before now actually burrow into the pots over winter and nest actually in the buckets. So be interesting to see. The roof light is, because it's so hot, it's about 28-29 degrees in here at the minute, so obviously I left it with the door shut, the roof vents opened up on its own and controlling the temperature. I'm going to remove this and give this a trim back. I just noticed there's a load of fruit on here that looks like it's got a fungus on it, so I'm going to remove any of these dodgy branches and limbs. So there's a load of decay on that stem there, so I shall cut them off. I'll try and light the fire in a bit. I've got a bit of brown paper there and maybe use to light the fire. Just going to trim out anything that's sort of decayed and get rid of it. So I shall just sit down with my coffee for 5 or 10 minutes and I shall bring you back in a bit. I've had a fairly severe pruning here. There's still a couple of bits that need to come out, but I've got most of the dead, and there's lots of shoots and things that come up, so got rid of all that. Don't know if you can see through there. Yeah, smoke. Got the old incinerator going, so all the smoke there's all the dead green, all the tomato stuff, the green and wet stuff at the top that was diseased. So I'm going to get this pile of stuff out the middle of there now that's all grown over, and get that ready to drop in when the smoke's all stopped. So I'll bring you back in a bit. I had to make a couple of phone calls, so of course all the dry stuff burnt out really quick. There was a few bit of damp sort of part cooked tomatoes left in the bottom, still smouldering a little bit, but I think it's going to go out fairly quick. I've loaded it up with all the stuff that was piled up in the middle of that fruit area, so hopefully I should be able to trim over that again. Still the odd few little bits of twigs and moss and that, but I'll give it a trim over and rake it all out. Not today, but before not too long. A bit of a branch there. Another comfrey pile there. Again, I should probably cut the comfrey back and get it in the compost bin. I had a look in the compost before. I'll show you now. A couple more bits. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago I piled a load of wood chippings in that went up to my palm. They've all gone down, and I tipped a bin bag full of grass cuttings in beginning of this week, and sometimes obviously on a night when I get here I eat a banana. I've been putting the banana skins in, and 6 or 8 inches down again. Amazing how quick. I can feel still a bit of warmth coming off that. I've not managed to bring any vegetable peelings yet this week. I've got some at home, but I'll probably add to them tonight and bring them on Monday. What time is it now? It's 5:10. So I'll tidy my stuff up and finish my coffee and my cup, then I'll probably be heading home in a bit. I just want to make sure that that's, before I put that plastic cover back on, make sure that's not smouldering anymore. A couple of the little squash type things coming through. Might get something off these before the first frosts hit, if they grow quick enough. I need to pull these onions actually as well. They'll sort of dry off a bit at the bottom. Another little squash hiding in there. I still need to be interesting to see actually if anything's been in here digging. No, so no mice or anything I've got in here. These are all like tree seeds that are blown in. I still need to empty these tyres. There's still probably a few pounds of potatoes lurking in there underneath. I'm reluctant to I'll have to cover it up. I was going to say, got some little garlic bulbs in the shed that I harvested out of some of these tyres. Could do with like weeding all these out again and refreshing the compost a bit and planting them, see if they germinate. And I don't honestly remember if they're like an overwintering type or a autumn planting type. I mean, I think they were probably self-sown from unharvested garlic, and the seeds have dropped in as they're all like perfect little round bulbs, as if they've sort of grown from seed, because they can take a year or two to, you know, grow from seed to the initial bulb. Then you replant the initial bulb and eventually separates and you get your bulb full of cloves that you're used to seeing. I'll show you them. Amazing just how quick all the rain and everything pops back up. But these are a load of, this is why I don't sit in the shed. It's one of my winter jobs is to sort the shed out and have a tidy up. A couple of like filing cabinets there I got from work. Just need to tidy up and rearrange and throw some stuff out. There's a mouse or a rat gets in every summer. I don't know where. This was always a mouse and rat proof shed, but must have chewed its way in somewhere, so I'm going to have to empty the place to find the hole and deal with it, and then make it sort of secure again. Got like the base and backrest of an old computer chair there as well. I want to make a bit of a frame for like a fitted chair in here. So this is one of the jobs for a winter weekend. Dig everything out and sort it out, sweep it out, fix any holes. But this is the all the little garlic bulbs I pulled out. So they've been in here since I started. I lifted them out in spring. That one had actually just started separating into sort of 3 cloves. So might even take some of them home and plant them at home. Might start a few off in one of the buckets in the greenhouse actually that I've just cleared, but possibly not today. I should have planted some, never thought really. Like all the climbing beans failed because mice or something pulled them out the ground, but I should have started some off in here. This is kind of a hydroponic thing, but it's not powered. I used to just pour water down the tube to keep all the roots wet, but I did grow some climbing beans and peas in that the other year up to the top of the shed, so maybe try that in the new year. I'll find a more secure way of stopping the critters getting to the beans. Load of stuff here I need to get junked. Also, I want to clear that. That's like a little polytunnel frame, and I do have a brand new cover for that in the shed. So I'd like to sort of situate that parallel with this greenhouse and grow squashes or stuff in there next time. I'll keep this one just for the tomatoes. That's it anyway. I'm going to put my tools away.